What is going on, my beautiful LARPers and LARPettes? Today we're going to go over the Flux capacitor. Just kidding, guys. This is the Flux Raider by Flux Defense. So full disclosure, I met these guys at SHOT Show about 3 or 4 years ago. They actually gave me their Glock Gen 4 brace system here with their flashlight mag holder. I broke my hand at the time and they gave me a left-handed brace. And I actually shot this for pretty much until my hand healed. Went to go and compete with it and had tons of fun with it. I kind of lost contact with them for a couple years, so instead of just me saying, hey, can you send me another free brace out of nowhere, I just ended up buying this guy. So this one is purchased by me. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, the Raider itself, it is a chassis system that your 320 FCU drops into, and you can put whatever slide, combo, whatever you want. I'm going to go over the features that I have on mine, some of the stuff that I didn't like that I changed, and some of the stuff that I kind of still don't like but worked my way around. Starting at the front here, you have a Faxon compensator. You have a Faxon fluted barrel with this cool like chameleon style coloring here. If you look on this side, I have a charging handle by Tactical Development. And it's cool that this charging handle has a little sight integrated into it. I feel that the charging handles are a must when it comes to using a Flux Raider. I also have a Tactical Development thumb rest. This thumb rest works for two things. Yeah, it does help me a little bit to mitigate that recoil, to control the gun a little bit better. I'll hit my nipple. But it's also a good indexing point for me. So before I had this piece, I had this charging handle, and every time I would come up and get a purchase on my gun, I'd kind of put my thumb just like that, and I would try to rest it on that, and that would be bad news because when that slide goes back after I fire around, it's going to smack my thumb. Thankfully, I didn't do that. Has nice little texturing on top of that, so I can tell the difference between if I'm feeling the charging handle up here or I'm feeling that thumb rest there. It gives me a good indexing point, so when I feel that, I'm like, okay, that's where it needs to be. You have a rail that you can pretty much put any light on there, not just the X300. I just think this looks pretty sweet. When putting a light on the Flux Raider, you also got to take into consideration the size of the light, how it feels in your hand, because it does become part of your grip now. The X300, when I'm holding it like this, it doesn't really bother me as much. There is this little piece here where the disconnect to open the battery. If you're holding it like that, it kind of digs in your hand, so I kind of hold it like this here. Other lights, they're going to be different sizes, so you can get a smaller one like this guy here. You can get a bigger one like this guy here with a laser on it. It just depends whatever's going to feel comfortable. You can also get, there's these two little holes cut out here. You can get a rail attachment piece so you can put your light here and then just not have anything underneath you. I like the light here because it's easier for me to activate the switches as opposed to it being on this side. I'd put it on this side and it'd be easier for me to activate, but I'm also using this thumb rest, so I'd mostly have it on this side, but again, it's personal preference. Now moving on back, I have a SIG P320 slide from Rival Arms, a Primary Arms SLX RS10. This isn't released yet. I have this FCU from SIG. This is their FCU that they sell on their site. Now if you look in here, this is a Armory Craft safety delete on this side, and I also got their aluminum safety lever on this side. The original safety selectors I didn't really like. They were a little bit too stiff for me. I probably could have adjusted them to make them smoother. I just didn't like how tough it was to activate it. Maybe I'm not strong enough.
Your power is a weak old man.
With this Armory Craft one, it being a little bit longer, a little bit wider, and easier to activate and deactivate, it just feels second nature. Now moving back, you have your brace. And within this brace is pretty cool. If you're looking at the back here, you have a battery tray that holds an extra battery for your optic that you're slapping on there. And I think it's really cool that they actually added that. And if you're looking at the bottom here, they integrated a Allen key into the back of your chassis. I just think the attention to detail on that is amazing. That one Allen key works on all the screws that comes with this Flux Raider. Now the negative with the brace, in conjunction with this ejection slide release lever here. Now, the way this works, to eject the brace, put your pointer finger here, push that down, and it ejects the brace. Make sure to check if I'm empty, 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 empty. This also works as a slide release. The problem I was having, I usually tend to reload with the stock or brace on my shoulder. If I'm shooting and I drop the mag, insert a new mag, and I were to hit that release, that brace would collapse on me. Luckily, I know when it collapsed, so I'm not gonna fire around and that thing's gonna come smack me in the face. It was annoying at first, but now that I'm used to it, I just take it off my shoulder when I'm gonna reload, and that fixes all the problems. I just pretty much shoot, bring it off my shoulder, release, and there you go. Won't have that issue anymore. I feel that if you're used to keeping it on your shoulder, you're gonna have that issue whenever you're using this, but you also have your release on the opposite side that you can use. It just takes a little bit longer for me. So let me demonstrate how much faster it is to use this as opposed to coming on this side. Here, bang, 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 and you're good to go. Now when you're using this side, bang, 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 you have to find that little lever and it just takes a little bit more time, but that's a for sure way you're not going to collapse the brace. So you give and take there. Now on the topic of the brace, you do have 4 different positions here. So if you see, there's 4 different notch cutouts here. So you have 1, lever down, 2, lever down, 3, 4, last one. So when you fully press that down, it extends to the 4th and last one. So if you want to make those minor adjustments later, you could. On the brace, you also have a QD attachment at the end of the brace, and you have one right on the chassis itself here. You also have this attachment here that has a notch cut out where you can see through to your sights if your battery dies and if you can't get to your spare battery fast enough or you're just too lazy like me. You also can swap that out for a complete covered up one if you're going to shoot suppress so that gas doesn't come back and blow in your face. All right, now moving on to how to release the magazines and how to reload this thing. There's actually 3 different ways. You have your traditional AR-15 style release there on the right side. Then you have this lever here that you push forward and that releases the magazine. And my favorite part about this whole system here is how you reload it while taking out this magazine in front. If you depress it halfway, you just take out that front one, right? But if you depress it all the way down, it releases the back one and releases the front. So let me demonstrate locking it back again, taking my hand off of the grip, push that down, insert it that way. I think that is genius. I also think with that being on there, these 2 aren't really necessary. I mean, maybe 1 more, but 3 different ways to reload, I don't really think is necessary. So it's pretty much personal preference at that point. Now, this gun is super small. I can put this in my smallest bag, which is the Haley Strategic Flat Pack, and that bag was like made for this thing. But that about does it for my little overview review of the Flux Defense Raider. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you guys like the background that I have here. I'm trying to figure out my lighting situation. Love you. Catch you in the next one.